This is just an abstract that I did, which went wrong, didn't work out how I wanted it to. So I'm going to Momigami it, and I'll show you what happens when you Momigami this paper when it's been painted on both sides. So I've just Momigami it, and I won't make you watch this. I sort of tend to keep the edges folded in, and I think it's so that you don't tear the edges of the paper. And then from then on I just scrunch it up as much as I can, trying not to stress it too much. Once you've folded the paper enough, you can then really scrunch it up, because the sort of tensions have been broken and the whole thing is a lot looser. There isn't the sort of surface tension that you get on paper, and it starts to become sort of much more flexible. Now this is cartridge paper which I supply. I'm going to put a craft supply section on my website, www.louisejanetta.co.uk. Go to shop and go to craft supplies. Once I've really scrunched this up and it's really softened, I find the next thing to do, which is really important, which people tend to forget to say, is you rub the surfaces together. Right, this is just acrylics, and it's just System 3 acrylics, I think. And oh, you can hear it's pretty thick. Oh, and I did also varnish these, and I just varnish it with acrylic floor varnish. And what happens eventually is that this particular paper, because of the tensions that are created on the surfaces of it, it separates the ply of the paper. So you end up with something that's very, very plastic. You can hear it. I wish you could feel it. And the more you go on like this, the more it is like actual fabric. And why I'm doing it to these, rather than just using them as pure collage, is that I'm doing this book that makes you question quite what the substrate is that you're using. So is it fabric or is it paper? And there's so many issues involved in that discussion. Particularly in Britain, because in Britain the crafts are not valued quite so much, not as much as they are in America, and it's very separate. And even now there's a sort of hierarchy of arts, even still, and I suppose it's proven by longevity that oil painting on canvas lasts, and therefore seems to retain its value and have a value greater than craft work does. But I don't know how long that's going to go on for. I think in Britain as well, craft work's associated with women these days, although of course it wasn't. It was a very male dominated industry, as was everything in the past. You know, furniture making or even weaving and fabrics was managed by males. So there's a funny misvalue of craft work. So now I end up with two lovely flexible pieces of paper that I shall stick onto fabric or onto tissue papers, and they'll maintain this lovely, soft, strange, it feels a bit like rain mac or something. It feels like, oops, I just torn it. It feels like PVC fabric.